Imagine pulling up to your house and it's not there anymore. No walls, no roof, just smoke and ash where your life used to be. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some people say, that's just nature, it happens. Others say, no, something is seriously wrong. But here's the part nobody agrees on. What are you supposed to feel in that moment? Anger, grief, numbness, or something even deeper, like being completely lost? Because this isn't just about a fire, it's about losing everything that made you feel safe. And if that happened to you, what would you expect from the world? What does God say when everything you built disappears overnight? Because what the Torah, the gospel, and the Quran say about this might not just explain the loss, it might challenge what you're willing to do next. Here's what happened. In Georgia, wildfires spread faster than people expected. Homes burned. Entire neighborhoods gone. Over 120 houses destroyed. Families forced to evacuate, grabbing whatever they could carry, knowing they might not come back to anything. For some, they didn't. One woman returned and said it plainly, "My house is gone. That's it. Everything gone." This is where it gets messy, because this isn't just property. This is people's lives, their memories, their sense of safety. And now they're standing there with nothing, asking, what do we do now? And here's where most disagree. Some people see disaster, others see responsibility. Some say, that's tragic, and move on. Others feel like something more is required. But what are you supposed to do when someone loses everything? And this is where faith steps in. Here's what's interesting. The Torah doesn't ignore suffering, it commands action in response to it. It says, if your brother becomes poor and cannot maintain himself with you, you shall support him. Leviticus 25:35. Not feel bad, not pray from a distance. Support him directly. And then this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18. That's not a suggestion, it's a standard. So when someone loses everything, Judaism doesn't ask, is this sad? It asks, what are you going to do about it? Because if it were you, you wouldn't want sympathy, you'd want help. This might challenge how you see it, because Jesus didn't just talk about compassion, he made it active. He said, I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, you welcomed me. Matthew 25:35. Notice something he doesn't say. You felt bad for me. He says, you did something. And then this, love your neighbor as yourself. Mark 12:31. Same idea, same standard. But here's what people are missing. Christianity doesn't separate faith from action. If someone is suffering and you do nothing, then what does your faith actually mean? Now listen to this. The Quran is very direct about helping others in need. It says, and they give food in spite of love for it to the needy, the orphan, and the captive. Not when it's easy, not when it's extra. In spite of loving it, meaning it costs you something. And then this, so as for the orphan, do not oppress him. And as for the petitioner, do not repel him. That means when someone is in need, you don't turn away. But here's what stands out. Islam doesn't frame charity as optional. It frames it as responsibility. So what do all three say together? When people suffer, you respond. When people lose everything, you step in. When disaster hits, you don't just watch. But here's what people are missing. We've gotten really good at feeling things and really bad at doing things. We watch the videos. We say, that's terrible. And then we scroll. This is where it gets uncomfortable, because feeling compassion is easy. Acting on it, that costs something: time, money, energy, effort. And here's the hard truth. It's easy to care until it requires sacrifice. It's easy to say, I would help, until it's actually your turn. But these scriptures don't leave room for that gap. They close it. They say if you see someone hurting, you are now part of the situation. So now this turns to you, not the fire, not the headlines, you. Because right now, there are people standing in ash where their homes used to be. So what does your faith look like in that moment? Not what you believe, but what you do. This is where you get uncomfortable, because you can't separate faith from action anymore. So ask yourself, what can you do? Not hypothetically, not someday, but right now. Could you donate? Could you help a family? Could you support relief efforts? Could you even just raise awareness in a way that actually leads to help? Because here's the real question. What is faith without action? What does it mean to believe in God, but ignore people he tells you to help? And here's the hardest question of all. If you lost everything tomorrow, what would you hope someone else would do for you? Because that's your answer. That's your responsibility. Don't just see the fire. Don't just see the loss. See the people. and then decide what are you willing to do. Because in the end, faith isn't proven by what you feel. It's proven by what you're willing to do for someone who has nothing left. Ask your local Red Cross or Red Crescent what you can do. Don't just see the situation, see the person, and be a part of the solution. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and head over to our YouTube page for more content like this.